This is Chuck Schaefer of Customer TV, and I'm joined by Ron Toledo of Capgemini. Ron, thank you for joining me today.
You're most welcome.
Ron, I want to talk about CRM in terms of how customers are viewing this particular strategy and technology and what they're hoping to get out of it. But let me start with the problems. You're in the field talking to business leaders frequently. What are the overarching problems that sales and marketing leaders are facing?
Well, for sure, it's one of the hotspots in business transformation right now, is to focus on the customer experience, if you like. It's almost as if we have sort of refound the customer, essentially. And maybe in certain parts of the world it's a result of economic crisis, and you sort of find your roots again and are finding that you need to re-establish the link with your customer. So that's one thing. Engaging in new ways with the customer is a big theme as well, because we're quickly finding that customers are more volatile. They are using different channels. They are not as loyal as they used to be. So there are some big challenges going on in not only re-establishing but also keeping the connection with the customer.
When you're talking to business leaders and your own customers and they are looking for your assistance with CRM adoption, what's the overarching opportunity that they're trying to enable or to achieve with CRM strategy and software?
Well, the overarching objective is clearly to get into a new level of contact with their clients. I think that's what they're trying to achieve, but also to reap the benefits of new media and new technology. So if you look at it, first of all, there's an opportunity to get much more insight about customers. So what they're trying to achieve is get much more insight of their customers than they used to have. And secondly, they're using all sorts of different channels to have multiple touch points with the customer, much more than they used to have. And as a result of that, thirdly, of course, they're looking to increase their revenue through this re-established contact with their customers. I would say these are really the three pillars of creating this new level of customer experience from our clients' perspectives.
You know, you've now used the term customer experience a couple of times.
Yeah.
Is customer experience the new objective? And if it is it part of CRM strategy, or is this something supplemental to CRM?
I believe to a certain extent you could, on the other hand, argue that CRM would be part of creating a full customer experience, right? Because there is, if you look at it end-to-end, the customer experience, there's a lot of different touch points, there's a lot of different ways that you interact with the client, and CRM is one of the ways to deal with it, but there are many other ways to engage with the client as well. Some of them might, for example, be through new media. You have a set of additional touch points with the client that you're using there as well. So you might argue that CRM is one of the components that helps you to create this end-to-end customer experience.
For the business leader that is considering adopting or creating a social strategy, what advice would you offer them before they jump into a social strategy and social media?
I think there are two very important things to realize. First of all, you need to understand your demographics, the demographics of your clients. And then secondly, what we always say is you need to understand your relevancy towards clients. So are you competing on price? All the crucial things. Are you competing on price? Are you trying to dominate on ease of access to your services? Are you dominating on the product portfolio? Are you dominating on service? Or are you trying to create some sort of a personalized experience? These are 5 crucial attributes. And what we've learned is, if you want to create a strategy towards your customer, you need to choose where you want to dominate. It's a myth that you could excel in each of these areas. You need to choose one, maybe choose one other that supports it, and the other ones you simply need to be at parity with the rest. So these 2 elements are extremely crucial to understand before you even consider not only using social media, but also CRM, service management software, multi-channel tooling, and e-commerce, all of that.
You know, mobile was one of those attributes you referenced in your research study, and
yeah,
mobile is an increasing piece of CRM technologies.
Definitely.
If you find, take your research study as an example, if you find that your customer target is increasingly mobile, what advice would you recommend to a business leader to implement mobile as part of their CRM strategy or their social strategy?
Well, once you've understood, the actual people you're trying to address through your mobile strategy, once you've understood your relevancy attributes, then we should realize it's a very volatile market. So you need to understand that channels might change overnight, and our study that I just mentioned shows that people are not very loyal to whatever device or platform they might be using. So if you create something, it needs to be designed to be very volatile at the front end, because different devices will quickly pop up. Different uses. 2 years from now we might be doing many things from our car or from our television sets, where we thought that the mobile phone would be dominant. So it's very important to create an architecture and a foundation platform that helps you to explore all sorts of different, if you like, incarnations of that mobile channel, because mobile is just not mobile anymore. It's very volatile and very quickly changing.
You are well versed in helping customers with CRM software selections and deployments. I think you've got some interesting opinions on selections. So for the business leader that's about to embark on a CRM software selection project, what advice would you offer them?
I think what we're finding nowadays, of course, is that in many cases, first of all, these type of implementations are driven by the business rather than by the IT department. That's one that we found. And if you think about it, it's driven by these new solutions like we're seeing with Oracle, but also with Salesforce.com and others that are can be delivered through the cloud, which are highly standardized. If you really look at them, they are highly standardized. They're not meant to configure in all sorts of nitty-gritty details. So instead of the traditional way of selecting software, you set up a whole list of requirements and specifications, and then you're trying to map it on the different solutions, to do some fit gap analysis, and then sooner or later you select something. We are finding that choosing the actual platform could be a very pragmatic choice. Am I completely on Oracle? Would be a very good idea to choose Oracle stuff. Am I on IBM? I might be considering IBM stuff. Am I still free? And do I want to choose something which is flexible and right now quite trendy or in vogue? Maybe we should be looking at Salesforce.com or a niche player or whatever. But the thing is, it doesn't matter that much because the actual solution sometimes is a bit overrated. What you really need to understand is you have a solution platform that can very quickly help you to get where you want. And instead of articulating requirements and trying to see if it fits, you have a solution over there. You have a set of value scenarios that you want to validate. Would I be able, with my big value scenarios towards my customers, with this platform, to actually fulfill the promise of that value scenario? Yes, could we do it? You can actually validate that hypothesis, if you like, within 6 or 7 weeks, rather than these big, selection projects that seem to take for ages and nobody's ever satisfied.
It's interesting. Once the selection decision has been made and a company has chosen a CRM software package and platform, what should they be thinking about when it comes to deployment?
Try to be as pragmatic as possible, and again, realize that when you selected it, you chose a highly standardized solution, because it's the age of the cloud, and in the cloud we're seeing more and more highly standardized, if you like, vanilla type of solutions. Try to understand that you can find your flexibility on top of that. So through mobile, through business process management, through analytics, through portals, through e-commerce, there's a lot of layers that you can put on top of it, so that you can keep the core solution as basic and standard and vanilla as possible. On top of that, you can create flexibility layers later on or on the spot, but you will be much more flexible. So what we are seeing now, if we implement CRM, for example, Fusion Apps CRM, we have a set of accelerators, and it's very much a templated thing. You're trying to do it vanilla style because it will enable you to very quickly get it up and running. You master all the basics, you can do what you want, and then through, let's say, your agility layers that you already have standing ready, you're able to later on add flexibility to that solution. So it helps you to really be accelerated in implementing it. This can be done very quickly. This is the age of the cloud. We're not looking for years of implementation time. We want a cloud solution that quickly helps us on our way, but we want to architect it in a way that we can add flexibility at will later on. And that's certainly something that we're seeing a lot of benefits from these days.
Well, that sounds like good advice, and I think with that we're at a good break point for our conversation. This is Chuck Schaefer of Customer TV, and I've been joined by Ron Toledo of Capgemini. Ron, thank you very much for joining me today.
You're most welcome.